Good morning. I just got back from dropping my son off at school and I'm just putting on skincare. But Happy New Year, and I look crazy right now. I just woke up a little while ago, all that, but it's winter and I'm dry as fuck. So anyway, I wanted to start the new year off by giving you guys what you've been requesting overwhelmingly. So yeah, I'm going to show you how I blend. I'm not going to show you how to blend. I'm going to show you how I blend, and maybe you can incorporate it into the way that you're already blending, or maybe you might learn something new, or, you know, try it differently. But I'm going to explain my process, and I'm going to like go through it in real time and like show you in real time, no cuts, no edits. And I'm going to show you and walk through exactly how I do it and why I think you get the best result when it comes to like vibrant blends. I can't talk today. I just made my coffee. So cheers. Let's get to blending. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in. I'm actually gonna start like, I gotta do my brow. I always start with my brow first and I do my base last, and for this very reason is because fallout, right? So you gotta be smarter. Don't do your base first and then complain about fallout. Just saying. But everybody has a process and they have a way of doing it, and sometimes people do their base first and that's what works better for them, and they hate fallout. Like me, fallout doesn't bother me in the simple fact because I do my base last. Also, like if I do my base and I happen to mess up my blend, like say I mess up my blend like over here, like I have to wipe it off and fix it, I'm gonna mess up and disturb my base, right? So like to me it just makes sense, especially if you're doing like super creative looks, you want to do your base last. Okay, so right now I'm just adding the tail end. Like my brow goes from here to here, so I just add up here to elongate it, because I always like shave off the tail end, like not a lot, just a little bit, so that way, like, because otherwise my brow goes down here, so I shave all this off and I just, you know, so that way it's kind of like more of a straight brow. Like you kind of see more of the natural shape here, but it kind of comes down here. I'll never be able to match them, so anyway. But yeah, this brow gel is a little sticky, so I'm having trouble getting it to show up perfectly. So basically when you think of a rainbow, like figure yellow, orange, red, and then red going into purple, and then you have your warm tones turning into cool tones. So you got the purple, the blue, green, and then yellow again, and then you could start the rainbow over, yellow to orange, and then like, you know, it's, color theory is so important with blending. Because you'll know what works and what makes sense, and if you have a basic understanding of color theory, then like your blends will go so far. Like when I learned color theory and understanding what colors work with what, like the combinations were endless. And then when it comes to like different tones of colors and stuff like that, then it gets a little tricky, but like once you know the basics, like it really is just game over from there. So it was the best advice I ever learned, and it was from my friend Jessica again. So I've learned so much from her. If you know who she is, she no longer posts makeup stuff. She's still around, you can still get her, but I love Jess, and she's been an incredible friend and has inspired me so much since the very freaking beginning. But endless talent, endless knowledge. I miss her so much, so freaking much. She's the best. Okay. We're gonna start with the basics. We're gonna use the blends palette. And I'm gonna do one of my favorite color combos ever, which is like a purple, like a blue purple mint kind of combo. It's like one of my favorites. It's a look that I did that always brings me joy. It was my first and probably only viral look. So yeah, we're gonna do that. And it's such a beautiful like type of gradient, so we're gonna do that. But first things first, I want to talk about eyeshadow base. I always use the P. Louise base. It is everything, but I'm going to show you how I use it. So I use it on a palette like this, and it tends to dry up over the next few days, literally, but I find it works better when it dries up, so I leave it out. Now I'm going in with a little tiny bit of my brush. I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to show you how I apply it. So I have just a little tiny bit, and this is going to cover majority of my lid. I drag it out and do like buff in the most thin layer for like my starting point. So I cut my brow with it, obviously. Now I'm going to dip in a little bit more. You can see it's just a little tiny bit. And I'm like buffing it in with circular motions with this fluffy brush. And I'm actually going to do, because it's like the easiest way to show you a good gradient blend, I'm going to do like my little half circle shape. Also because it's fun. I'm going to use a little bit more to bring up here. I actually have staining on my lid because I actually started this video and I hated the outcome, so I'm redoing it. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to start with a flat brush kind of like this because I'm a packer. I'm going to start with the darkest purple, which is the shade Bewitched, and I packed it on my brush. And I'm going to pack on the deepest shade. Always pack. Majority of the blend I am packing. I'm not worried about the mess. I'm just kind of going with whatever shape that I want. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm focused on packing this on. This very first shade. Not too far out, just in this area. Did I go in with Spellbound and not the purple? I did. Okay. I went in with blue and purple, but that's okay. It's okay. Just like that. Packed it on. Now I'm going to take a smaller fly. I always use smaller blending brushes. And I'm going to blend out the edge just a little tiny bit. But I have to pack on the color there as well because I have creases. So I'm just going to fix that. Just like that. And I'm just blending out those edges just a little bit. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the shade Chance, which is like, it is a dark blue, but it's kind of like a mid-tone blue. And I'm going to put it here on that color that I already put down and slightly off, kind of like half on, half off, but with darker shades mostly I put together like you're sandwiching them. And I'm packing it on there, and up here I'm going to fluff it just a little bit, but I'm packing it while I'm sandwiching it. I hope that makes sense. I'm like terrible at explaining things. This is why I have a rough time doing tutorials, but I'm going to take another brush and I'm going to blend those edges just like that, just a little bit. Circular motions, no windshield wipers. Okay? Very light, feathery circular motions, just like that. And like we already have a good blend, you know? Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the shade 32, which is that like mid-tone teal shade. And again, I'm going to place it like right there and sandwich it. And this is in real time. This is how fast I blend, which is crazy to a lot of people, but I know my eye shape by now, and like once you learn your eye shape and you know all that, it gets easier. So I'm just tapping it, and I'm going to start like tapping it outwards as well. Just like that. Going a little bit at a time. No blending yet. I'm actually going to go in with the blue shade Chance again, and I'm going to build that back up right over here. And I'm going to blend. It's literally like, my blending is a process, and as long as you're using really good shades like the Blends palette, you'll be able to layer these shades and build them back up with no issue. with no patchiness, with none of that. Okay, now I'm going to take a clean brush. This one's no longer available, but it's the Morphe M456. And I'm going to take the shade Bubble Bath, which is that like baby blue shade, and I'm going to place it right on the edge again. And I'm tapping it on. Contact is dry. Tapping it on and blending circular motions very lightly once again. And I'm going to drag it out just slightly like that. I'm going to go back in with the shade 32, and I'm going to bring that shade back just tiny bits at a time. And drag it in there. The lighter you go, the more like easier it is to avoid like getting muddiness from shades. Okay, now I'm going to go into shade Inside Joke, which is that like beautiful minty shade. And I'm going to add it to the edge here. And drag it. I love these colors together, especially from this palette in particular. Oh, they're so good. And I'm just going to feather it, circular motions out. Now you could see like I lost some of the color there, so I'm going to go back in with the shade, my eyes keep drying, 32. And build that up right there. And then I'm going to take Bubble Bath, baby blue again, and just put it there. And then Inside Joke, I'm going to drag that out at the edges again. Now I probably need to bring back the purple just a little tiny bit. Where's my brush? So I'm going to go back into Bewitched, and I'm going to add that purple right here. Pack it on there, and then I'm just going to blend it out slightly into the other shade. So that way you can see the purple when I cut, which is what I'm going to do. Now when it comes to cutting your creases, because I get a lot of questions about that too, I always use pointed Q-tips. You can get them on Amazon, and I always use the waterproof micellar water, which has like the oil in it. So I'm going to wet both sides of the Q-tip. Zoom back in, and you want to carefully map your eye. Like once you know your eye shape, like you'll know. So I'm going to start here at the top of my brow, and I'm going to bring it down like that. And the slower you go with it, like you cut less, and then you'll know how much more, little by little, you want to chip at it, you know? A little bit more. That could be good, but I'm going to go just a little more. And that's good enough for me. I'm going to take a different Q-tip. I'm going to clean this color up here. And now I apply with pressure as well, like I drag it. And you want to get as much as the shadow off, so that way when you cut it, you have like a nice clean cut. So I'm going to take another clean one, and I'm going to make sure those edges are nice and clean. Nice and carefully so I don't chip away more. Also, you know, how this shape came about, fun fact, I was actually doing a blend, and I messed up the blend really badly. And I had this thing years ago where like if I messed up a blend, I would just cut it away. So this was like an accidental shape actually. And it just, I was like, wow, that looks kind of cool. So that's kind of how it came about. So yeah, if you mess up on something, Q-tips, cut it out, make something cool of it. So, all right, I'm going to bring down these colors down here. So I'm going to take Spellbound, is it? No, Bewitched. And I'm going to drag it here just a little bit. I usually do it all in one, but I don't know why I didn't this time. I'm going in with Chance. Same thing. packing it on. This brush is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill GH42. Definitely not available anymore. I'm just going to connect it all. Taking my clean brush and I'm just dragging the product over here. Is that a bug on? Oh no, it's a tag. Seeing things in the corner of my eye and I'm like, bug. So I'm taking the shade 32 and I'm adding it here lightly. And I'm going to go in with Inside Joke. I'm not even going to add the baby blue there because I don't have enough space. Just like that. Now I'm going to look at my blend and see, like, are there any areas that, like, I need to blend more or build up, and right away I can see this area right here. This looks a little bit like it needs some more pigment there, so I'm going to tap on that pigment over it. I'm using the shade Chance. And I'm going to lightly build that back up. And now it looks a little harsh, right? So I'm going to drag it just a little tiny bit. Drag it out. I'm going to just take the shade 32 and I'm going to build up there on those edges. Like, once you have your colors laid down, it's really hard to mess it up after that. But you can if you go in with too much. So I always go in with a little bit. I'm going to take the shade Chance and I'm going to build it up a little bit more here to enhance this gradient and make it look more, I don't know, cohesive? Is that the right word? I don't know. I'm making shit up. And that looks good. I'm going to take a nice big clean fluffy brush and I'm going to take the shade Inside Joke, tap a little bit off, and I'm going to just tap it all over, just kind of make it look really blended out. I'm going to take a little bit of bubble bath actually, and I'm going to just dab it on right here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about cut creases. Once again, we're going to use P. Louise and we're going to use this nice flat brush. So what I'm going to do is, I have a little bit on the brush, as you can see. I've had this brush for a very long time, and I'm going to press it on there along the shape. So I'm going to press and then we're going to pull the product down and stamp it. Sorry, I'm trying to be able to look in my mirror while I do it so I don't mess this up while staying in frame. Stamp it on there. Take a little bit more on my brush. Stamp. And then this part I usually just drag. Just like that. And then I'm going to drag all this product out. So you don't want too much product on the edge because then you have to worry about like transferring. Then I'm going to take my fluffy brush and I'm going to drag it and pat it out. That's what I'm doing here. I can't see, so 1 second. I'm just dragging it over. And there you have your shape. Now, I'm not a fan of this little piece right here, the way it looks. So what I'm going to do, actually, because, like, you know, I'm getting older and my eyes are changing. So I'm going to take Bewitched once again, and I'm going to fix that. I'm just going to add shadow there to kind of just manipulate the shape again. Just like that. So that way it looks better like this, and it's not like, it doesn't look so sharp. You know, 6 years ago when I did this, or like 4 or 5 years ago, it didn't look like that. But, you know, so I'm just adding it in there, and with a small brush, and I'm just changing the shape just slightly. The way it looks better. And I'm carefully doing this by just adding it on because the base is there. Just like that. But that's just me having a personal preference right now and not liking the way that it looks. This is why I don't really do this shape that much anymore. Because it's just not, it's not the same as it used to. Like, that's much better. It's much better. But when I cut it, like, I can't like really tell. So, yeah. Okay. Now I kind of want to get funky with this look, and I want to use my palette, my Aurora Chasing palette, and I want to use the greens. I really want to use the greens. I don't know why, but I feel like that would look so cute. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use the greens. So I'm going to take this fluffy brush and I'm gonna go in with the darkest shade, Midnight Canvas, right here. And I'm going to start that right here at the edge, and I'm just going to pack it on. Just like that. Just lightly, not too dark. Just to about like right here. I'm gonna blend it up. Note these edges. Just to give it some depth in that little corner there. It's bringing it up just a little bit. Yeah, right above my crease is what I want. Just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with the shade Corona, which is that murky green right there. And I'm going to also dab it on there. I need a bigger brush. I need a bigger brush. Bigger, fluffier brush. So that I could cover more ground and have it more diffused. So I'm just going to blend it up here on the edges. Just like that. I'm actually going to go back in with the green. I feel like I need more of that dark green again. I'm going to build it up a little bit more. Bring it over. I feel like I'm rushing now because the freaking heat keeps coming out and it's freezing today in New York, so I'm going to cover this with shimmer anyway, so I don't have to make it perfectly perfect. Diffuse this part. Blend it all together. And now I'm going to go in with the pastel shade Polaris, this one. I'm going to pack it over here. I don't think I put base there. Shit. Hold on. I know I already put the color down there, but that's okay. Just like that. And I'm going to blend that into that Polaris shade. Over. Kind of looks cool together, the colors, right? Or am I being delusional? I like it. I like it. Okay, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take those same shades and I'm going to drag it down here so I could kind of connect it all. Just lightly adding it in there. Just like that. We're going to use a Diveroon shade. I really want to use this hollow shade right here from the Christmas collection. I think it's called Christmas Lights. The Weird Wisteria and Christmas Lights. These two. Ugh, so freaking pretty. So I'm going to do Weird Wisteria. Hopefully I won't need a base for this. And just tapping it on there. These shades are very, very emollient. So they kind of just go on. I'm going to be honest, I'm not really into this look. I just don't like this shape on me anymore. Okay, here's Christmas lights. You know, it's growing on me maybe. Weird Asteria is such a beautiful shade. I love this shade so much. I'm gonna build that one up a little bit more, and then I'm gonna take more Christmas lights over here. And maybe I'll do a loose pigment in my inner corner actually. Stick and Sparkle, the best of the best I ever owned. And I use like a tiny little fluffy pencil brush. And I'm gonna just dab it right there, that area. And then, I don't know if you can see, but this is Drizzly. Ugh, it's so beautiful. Just pack it on there. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's so pretty. Ugh. I love loose pigments. They're so freaking good. I'm also gonna put some here on my brow bone. And I'm going to take more of that base and I'm going to bring it under my eye slightly. And I'm going to add it there. I wasn't feeling this look until I put the sparkle on, so that tells you everything. Sparkle makes everything better. But yeah, really pretty. Terramoon makes some really pretty sparkles. Alright, I'm going to do my base and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Okay, and that is it. That's how I blend. That's how it works for me. I feel like going dark to light always works best for me. I feel like it gives me the most vibrancy. How I look at it with lighter to darker. And now while other people make it work and it looks amazing, and I think to myself, how the hell do you do that? Because when I try to do it, it's like, for example, taking a white shade and putting black over it, it turns gray, right? So like all the lighter shades dull the darker shades. Like that's how it happens for me. But I know I have friends that do light to dark, like Deandra Nicole. She does light to dark. I had no idea. I'm like, how the fuck? You know? But like it works for her, and that's what works for her. So I just wanted to go through and show you how I do my process and how it works for me, and how I feel like I get the max vibrancy and pigmentation of my blends. So do whatever's easier for you, what makes sense for you. I just wanted to show you my way. And yeah, you definitely, I would say, like, if you're going with darker shades first, use smaller brushes. So like, for example, you don't want to go in with your first shade using a brush this big. Do you see? You want to go in with something like this, so you can contain your blends, especially if you're using multiple colors. You want to go in with like a tiny brush, so that way you have control over the blend and you're not going in like this and you're circulating. You're going to push more product out, right? If you want multiple colors, you got to keep it contained, and then you could have more space. You know, this is going to push product around too much. So brushes are key. Your base is key. Like I said, I leave my base out to it sits here and it gets drier and thicker, and I think that that works best for me. And I use just a very thin layer. You don't need to go on much. I know, like in P. Louise videos, in P. Louise school, they'd be packing that shit on with a flat brush and then they blend it out, pack it in. I don't think you need that much. And use whatever base works for you. P. Louise has always been my number one, my go-to. Nothing else really works the same or as good. I got the MAC paint pot and I think I hate it. I haven't really given it that much of a chance. It's just, it's so much drier than what I'm used to. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful, and let me know your process, what works for you, or let me know if you're going to try this and let me know how it works for you. Here's a little macro close-up of the look so you guys could like see it nice and close. It's hard to stay focused with this thing, but it's just the perfect gradient.